Hi, I'm Patrick Vandewalle. I'm going to tell you something about my experiences with reproducible research. I studied electrical engineering and did my PhD on signal and image processing, and at this moment I work as a researcher at Philips Research in Eindhoven. So what is reproducible research all about? The goal of reproducible research is to make sure that an independent researcher would get the same results as what you did independently. Of course, it first of all allows a person himself to continue where he left his work, and it allows others also to start from the same point. My supervisor had pointed me to the work that was done around reproducible research in computational sciences at Stanford University, especially in the groups of Claerbout and Donohoe. Their work made a lot of sense to me because I was running into some non-reproducible work myself. When trying to replicate the results in a published article, all kinds of information was missing, which prevented us from achieving the same kind of results. So we really wanted to try to make our own publications reproducible. In computational sciences, which is my discipline, a description in a text just isn't enough. In this case, it's useful to make the data and the program code available, for example via a website or a repository like we did. When you make documenting what you have done part of your research process, it will cost you much less time to make information available when the time comes to write articles or write your own PhD thesis. Of course, it also helps you and others to repeat your own experiments. But most importantly, other researchers trust your results much more. Also, a reproducible publication in which data and code are made available typically receives more attention than other publications. For example, I have done a study now in image processing research which shows that an article which makes data and code available typically gets a much higher number of citations. This is a very important point in an academic career. What I didn't expect beforehand is that it facilitates collaborations which wouldn't have emerged otherwise. If you get a request for cooperation, it's very convenient that you already have a package available that you can use right away and give to the collaborator. Right now, I work at Philips, which certainly is a very different world. Putting all code and data for research on the internet for everyone is often impossible. But the underlying principles are still very important. In industrial research, it's crucial that colleagues can reproduce each other's results. And if you have to repeat part of your research yourself, you also just want to go ahead and lose as little time as possible. Since I graduated, working reproducibly has gained a lot of attention. Several research data repositories now exist, and also tools that make it easier to archive your data and code are available, such as, for example, Run My Code or Research Compendia. However, when it comes to working systematically, not that much has changed. Structuring your work is still something you will have to do yourself.